On the night of September 29, 2017, Tony Parsons, a 63-year-old Navy veteran and cancer survivor, set off on an ambitious 104-mile charity bike ride into the dark Scottish Highlands. His route took him along the A82, a notoriously remote stretch of road. Sometime during the night, Tony's journeys simply stopped. For 3 years, the investigation stalled. Search teams combed the Highlands, but they found nothing. No body, no bicycle, not even a scrap of clothing. When someone vanishes without a single trace, it creates an agonizing vacuum. Law enforcement hits a dead end, and a family is left suspended in grief, waiting for answers that never come. 3 years later, a forensic pathologist named Caroline Muirhead decided to start over. She matched with Alexander Sandy McKellar on Tinder, and within months, the two were engaged. Sandy lived and worked in an incredibly isolated environment, managing a massive 28,000-acre rural estate alongside his twin brother. Before the wedding, Caroline asked her fiancé for total honesty. She wanted to know who he really was. In response, Sandy confessed that 3 years earlier, he had hit a cyclist with his car, panicked, and buried the man right there on his land. Caroline recognized exactly who the victim had to be. She did what she knew was right and immediately reported the confession to the authorities, expecting them to arrest Sandy on the spot. But the police brought Sandy in for questioning, only to release him right back to his home. Without a body or physical proof, the baseline presumption of innocence completely outweighs a standalone accusation. Even dropping an unrecorded verbal confession from a fiancé onto the scale simply does not carry enough legal weight to secure a murder charge. This rigid legal barrier backed Caroline into a corner. She had to make a terrifying choice: safely walk away from the relationship or become the undercover operative who could close that gap. Caroline chose to go back. She returned to the remote estate to live with the exact man she had just reported for murder. She maintained a facade of a loving, supportive partner while secretly acting as a human recording device. Every day, she had to physically tape a police wire to her body. Underneath the casual conversations, she executed precise tactical maneuvers. She continuously probed Sandy, trying to draw out highly specific forensic details about the crime without ever arousing his suspicion. Living this duality took a severe toll. Over the course of 9 months, the constant terror of discovery pushed Caroline dangerously close to a complete mental breakdown. Every single day was a high-stakes survival test. She knew that one wrong word or one misplaced look could easily make her the killer's second victim. Eventually, the police asked Caroline for one specific piece of information. She had to pinpoint the exact burial site somewhere on that massive 28,000-acre property. She went out alone into the rugged Highland grass to find the spot Sandy had described. When she located it, she dropped a covert beacon for investigators, a single crushed sugar-free Red Bull can. That tiny piece of litter gave search teams exactly what they needed. In January 2021, investigators followed her marker and successfully recovered Tony Parsons' remains. The subsequent forensic autopsy revealed a detail far worse than a fatal car crash. This timeline of the collision reveals a devastating window. The evidence showed Tony likely survived for 20 to 30 minutes after being hit, a period where a simple phone call could have saved his life. Sandy's ultimate crime was the deliberate, panic-driven choice to bury a living man to protect his own freedom. With the physical body recovered and 9 months of wire recordings in hand, prosecutors finally had the evidence required to formally charge both McKellar brothers. The case reached Glasgow High Court in 2023, relying almost entirely on Caroline's testimony. But on the second day of the trial, the prosecution's star witness failed to show up. The crushing weight of the undercover operation had finally caught up with her. Police eventually found Caroline near a remote loch, experiencing a severe mental health crisis. The human mind is simply not built to sustain prolonged, intimate proximity to a predator without eventually fracturing. Even in her absence, the evidence she had sacrificed so much to gather spoke for itself. The audio recordings and the forensic data forced a legal resolution. Alexander Sandy McKellar was sentenced to 12 years in prison, while his brother Robert received 5 years for helping conceal the crime. After years of painful uncertainty, Tony Parsons' family finally had the answers they needed to lay their father to rest. Justice in this case was purchased entirely with an ordinary woman's sanity and safety, proving the massive personal cost of doing the right thing.